Order of the Town of Pelletier Board of Commissioners, 6:30, Monday, October the 2nd, 2023. Roll call.
Walter Vincent.
Yeah.
Jan Taylor.
Yeah.
Dale Sellers.
Here.
Sonny Mason.
Here.
David Bragg.
Here.
Tim Quinn.
Here.
All right, let's all stand for the pledge and invocation, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Alice?
Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, we thank you for the beautiful day that you have given us. And we thank you for each and every person that is present here tonight. And we ask that things done and said will be pleasing unto you and pleasing for this community. Be with each of us and keep us safe. All that I ask in your precious and loving name.
Amen. All right, before we approve the agenda, we do have a couple things to add under new business. Number 2, add 490 White House Forks Road. There's a dog problem there that the folks asked to be on the agenda, and it was supposed to already been there, but it just got forgotten. But anyhow, we'd like to add it. And Mr. DeSalms, you wanted to add something?
Yes, following the closed session, there may be an item that's ready for commissioner vote on it. So I'd like to add that to after the closed session, potential any action needed as a result of that closed session. So for the public, there may be action taken afterwards. So when we kick you out for the closed session, if you want to hang around and see if any action is taken, you're welcome to hang out and we'll come out and get you. We just want to make sure that you know that there's some action that will be potentially taken after closed session. Again, it may not happen, but it could.
Is these notes posted?
All right,
I'm sorry.
Are they posted so we didn't have to stay around?
Yeah, so the minutes will be approved the next meeting, and so you can see what happened after. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
all right. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, approval of the minutes of the September 18th, 2023 minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to read them. If there's no changes, do I hear a motion to approve as written? Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, move department's report. Code Enforcement Officer, Lieutenant Chris Jensen.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you this evening? I'm going to start with Pettiford Red. Pettiford Red brought to my attention, not like I needed it, but it was brought to my attention that there's some overgrowth going into the ditches there. By Commissioner Bragg pointed this out to me. So to get what I was actually going after and actually what I was supposed to be seeing, because I did not see it because it's over my head. That's it. I picked up by Commissioner Bragg. He took me for a tour, and we toured each area. And he already had come up with a list of select properties. I think we came up with 3 or 4 more that were minor, which could be handled by the property owners. And we're going to move on from there. I've already sent letters. I found about 8 of them so far. I think there's a total of 13, if I remember correctly. And I found about 8 of the owners so far. So letters have been sent to them in order to get in touch with me so we can talk about what has to be done with those ditches. So the Moen people can go ahead and get in there and actually get the job done and keep those ditches free so it doesn't pull up in that subdivision. I didn't see the mess until I actually got a tour and saw what was going on, and yeah, it is bad. I've included maps from our GIS system that the county offers. I don't know if you guys are familiar, I'm sure you are, but I don't know if the audience is. And you can see from high above where the problems are. I put little X's in there just to kind of show you what the properties are that I'm looking at. And simple as that, okay. Getting on to the normal business. We still have the aforementioned properties that need tended to by a cleaning service that we all agreed needed to be done. In these 2 weeks since we've met last, Commissioner Walter Benson set me up with a man named Nikki, who is a town person, and he does this type of work, unbeknownst to me. So what I did was I took Commissioner Nikki around on the same tour I took the first gentleman on, so he could go ahead and give me a quote on what he wants to charge the town to get that job done. And he's yet to get back to me. In his defense, I met with him on Thursday afternoon. So I said, take a few days and get your thoughts together. So that's where we're at with that. I'm waiting to hear back on him. So we've got a few properties I mentioned in the last meeting that need to start getting action going on. So I've commenced action. One of them is way up there by Millis Road and White House Forks Road. I don't know if you're familiar with that property. It's got stuff all over the outside and a lot of overgrowth that needs tending to. And then there's one on the Millis Branch Court that there has been a recent death lately from unexpected occurrences that you can buy in the street from scrupulous peoples, if you know what I mean. So with that said, I'm keeping an eye on that one. There's overgrowth on the property. There's people living out of a camper, which is a county issue, not a town issue, because you have no ordinance against that. But I can look into that as well. So I've been working on those two properties, still trying to get a price on these other things that we're trying to move on. And I'm also working hard on getting I got to get Pettiford Road straight, because it's a big horseshoe that's just gonna, if we have a hurricane, it's gonna be a bad time. So, and all I can do is, I'm not a civil engineer, obviously I'm a cop. All I can do is follow our little town ordinance about getting out of the ditch line with those weeds. The rest of it's is up to like civil engineers and people that are way smarter than I am. Okay, with that said, gentlemen, any questions?
I have one question.
Sure, go ahead, sir.
When you did the first set of round of estimates to clean these properties up,
Yes, sir.
you said you contacted at least 3 people, right?
Well, 4, in fact.
4, and you only had one bid.
Yeah, I had that one man come out, a very nice man from Ohio that's just starting a business. He's a Swansboro resident, and he went around on the same tour I took Mr. Nicky on Thursday. I showed him all 4 same properties because I want them to be similar. I want to see where they'll come in on it.
No, I understand. I'm just saying you went over and beyond what you were supposed to.
I'm trying to get you. Not a lot of people, like you tell me what you want done, they're like, well, why? It's beyond them. Because it involves a couple sets of things. They have to have the tools to handle the big brush, and then they also have to have a crew to remove all that trash and crap.
Yeah.
And put it in and then get it out and haul it out. So,
No, you did an excellent job. I
Thank
was just
you.
wondering why the board chose to kick it on down the road again.
well,
I think the board did.
in fairness, I did meet with another person, right? Mr. Nicky, and when he gets his price back, at least we'll have 2 to look at and compare off of and see where the town will be at for the cleaning process. Okay, and then I think that at that point, we can all make a better informed decision how we want to take this. Because right now, I think the standing bid is about $4,300. Okay.
That's Nicky Kravachik.
Right, yeah.
Get her done. is the thing.
Yeah, Nicky's Get Her Done service, that's correct, yes, sir, he had it right in his script. So, okay, that's all I've got. Further questions before I jump off? Who would you like me next? You want me to call the boss?
Sheriff Buck, I was wondering if we could ask you a couple questions, sir.
Certainly.
Everybody, this is Sheriff Asa Buck of Carteret County.
This is my boss, everybody.
We see right now you got your hands full. Well, Asa, kind of asked you here because, some of us kind of keep going back and forth about police service in Pelletier.
Yes, sir.
So I'd rather them hear it from you than from us. Like, as of right now, how much would it cost for a town to have a deputy, 40 hours a week?
Along the lines of what we do in Cedar Point, I guess you're asking.
Yes.
We have a contract with them. We call that a supplemental law enforcement contract with the town of Cedar Point. And obviously, whether there's a contract in place or not, the sheriff's office provides law enforcement service for this area of the county. Any town that doesn't have its own police force, law enforcement service is statutorily provided by the sheriff's office. And so there's deputies down this way, whether you have a law enforcement contract or not, same thing with Cedar Point. But that is a supplement. So the town of Cedar Point pays for approximately 40 hours a week to have a deputy sheriff in their town. And the way we have it set up, I modeled after some other contracts throughout the state. And we basically have about a 90-10 split, because it's hard for me to have a deputy in Cedar Point, and then if there are other issues going on, and if that deputy has to leave from Cedar Point to go answer a call here in Pelletier, in Bogue, down in Stella, anywhere else, or even provide mutual aid for the town of Swansboro, that type of thing. You know, they're backing up our other deputies in this area, and also mutual aid with the other towns around us that have police service. And so, you know, that I've never been one to try to nickel and dime anybody, especially when it comes to that type of thing. Law enforcement officers go where they're called, and some calls are more emergent than others, which requires them to leave their municipal boundaries or a zone that someone may be in. So we have a 90-10 split, and I provide them a cost estimate to provide a deputy sheriff in their town for 40 hours a week, and they bear about 90% of that, and the county kicks in the other 10 in our instance. That way we don't get into a situation of, well, we're paid for 40 hours of law enforcement service and your deputy had to leave for 3 or 4 hours to go up to Stella or wherever. And it's worked very well with us for several years.
Okay. All right.
But that deputy could, he's here and he gets a call to Stella, he could be going more than 3 hours, could he not?
Well, depending on the situation, yeah. I mean, if some major event which might require someone to be up there for a long period of time, that could happen. That would certainly be the rare exception, certainly not a general rule. And like I said, we've had the contract with Cedar Point for many years now. I had to research to give you the exact number of years we've had that contract, but it's been more than 5 or 6. And it's worked out very well. And
Is that a 8 to 5, or is it just 40 hours in somewhere in the 24-hour period?
Yeah, Lieutenant Nakamura, Kurt Nakamura is the deputy that's assigned to Cedar Point currently. I've had any number of different deputies over the years that work there, and that's not always a Monday through Friday 8 to 5. We have them to switch that around so that they're in the evening sometimes, during the week, on the weekend. It varies, but it's 40 hours a week.
Gotcha.
And that cost is about, and it depends on the deputy who's there as well, depending on their rank. Someone of a higher rank is going to be at a higher salary, and obviously the salary is the major part. We factor in a cost recovery for the vehicle. You know, we didn't ask Cedar Point to purchase a brand new vehicle. I think we charge them about $5,000 a year for the use of the vehicle. We factor in fuel. We try to make our best estimate when it comes to fuel. We all know how that goes up and down, but that's pretty much absorbed by the rest of our sheriff's office fuel budget throughout the year. But you're looking at anywhere from mid-60s to $70,000.
And that could go up soon.
Well, one of the problems that I have, our starting pay in the sheriff's office is the second lowest in the county as compared to all of the other police departments. So we have 8 municipal police departments, and all of us in the county, I hate to say we're in competition because all of our law enforcement agencies, we work together. I don't want to say that we're competing for anything, but we are competing for people. And and I can tell you, it's almost like a revolving door sometimes. You got people that come to work for you, they work for you for a year or 2 or 3 or longer, and then if they have the opportunity to go work somewhere else. I just lost a deputy to Onslow County a few weeks ago who was making about $14,000 more over in Onslow than what the currently being paid by our office. And so that's been an issue over the past several years of trying to compete with some of the municipal police departments situated here in our county, in addition to those that we compete with for personnel in the surrounding areas.
Did you say that the sheriff's department is second from the bottom?
In starting pay, we're currently the second lowest starting salary. And it's pretty much the same as you go up through the ranks. I can't give you the exact numbers, as you move up the scale. But from where your starting pay is and when you're moving up in ranks, sergeants, lieutenants, on up through the command staff levels, it's pretty much equal across the board.
Sheriff, now, how many deputies do you have assigned to a shift in this area?
Well, in this, we used to have our deputies split up kind of east and west. Morehead City Bridge, kind of the dividing line, and we had a certain number of deputies in the east, a certain number in the west. And with the addition of 2 deputies that the commissioners funded for us last year, I know that there was a push to have more deputies down on this end. And we put them in what used to be the West Patrol Division. And with the addition of each deputy on each A and B shift, that allowed, we've kind of changed that around a little bit. Now we have deputies assigned in zones, 6 zones across the county. And I have 13 deputies. I have 2 different shifts, an A shift and a B shift, and they both cover days and nights. But those are authorized positions. I don't always have all of those positions filled. Currently, I have, I think, an opening on each shift, and I have some deputies who are in training as well, and they're in various areas of their training. Some of those deputies might be in a car with a field training officer, or might be shadowed by another deputy. And so if we have a full crew and have 6 zones, then I'd be able to have a deputy in each zone all across the county, all the way from down east all the way down on this end. And but when you have open positions, you don't have a person in that car.
Right.
And out on patrol.
Now, Sheriff, the zone that covers Stella, how far does it go back towards east?
To the Bogue area.
So to Bogue City or Broad Creek?
I'd have to look, tell you exactly where the dividing line is, but it's around Bogue, everything this way.
Okay. But so what I'm saying is a deputy assigned to this area would be patrolling basically from Stella all the way back over there.
Yes.
So at any given time, he could be anywhere in that zone, right?
Yes, anywhere in that zone.
Okay.
But then, depending on what kind of call, another zone deputy, if there's a domestic, this is zone 6, if there's a domestic situation or a fight or something like that, which requires backup, then that deputy would leave zone 6 and travel to zone 5 and assist that deputy. And probably somebody from zone 4 would come over to zone 5. I mean, sometimes you have to have multiple deputies respond to a call. And the same would be true here.
And you also get, do you get mutual aid from Cape Carret?
Yes.
Do you also get mutual aid from Emerald over here?
There's been some instances where they've had to come over here.
Okay.
Not very often. More often, our mutual aid will come from Cape Carret. The Swansboro's come over in the past, which we've gone over and answered calls and backed them up over there as well. It just kind of all depends on the call that comes out, the location of our deputies. If our deputies are out of position, if the police officer or officers that are on duty in Cape Carret can get there quicker, or to come and back up our deputies, to provide an additional safety aspect for them and the public.
And also, when you're shorthanded like you are now, if someone goes on vacation, sometimes is it possible that a zone could go uncovered for a shift?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sheriff.
That changed that much over the years, really has.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, Walter, when you were on the road, I don't know how many deputies had, probably you and somebody else, I reckon, but,
Didn't have many.
We-
I
we've
thought
got-
we rode horses back then.
yeah, right. So, yeah, keeping people in positions is one thing, like I said, we talk about salaries and there's also some talk down in the eastern part of the county as well as far as trying to increase the presence that we have. And, I've been telling people, I don't so much need the positions as I need the funding to keep the deputies that we have. Because when a deputy comes and works your area, and they know the people in the area, and they know the back history of what happened last week, what happened last month, what happened 3 years ago. Every time that person leaves to go somewhere else, they take every bit of that institutional knowledge with them. So it's not just a deputy showing up on scene and answering your call. It's the knowledge that that person has that they bring with them, the experience, knowing the people, knowing all the issues in that area. And so you look at the people that have come through the sheriff's office, you know, overall, I've been in the sheriff's office for 25 years. There's been a lot of people come and go in that time. There's been a few of us that have been around for a while, right, Chris? Chris is one of them. And so, you know, we have some folks that are long serving in our office, but a lot of people who are coming and going. And a lot of it has to do with salaries oftentimes, especially nowadays in the world we're living in, the cost of living and everything else.
If Pelletier should enter into a contract with you, deputy, would you with them would have to ask the commissioners for an extra deputy, would you not?
Yes, sir. I mean, the commission, our county commissioners have to approve the position. Yes. I get to spend the money, I don't get to appropriate.
I understand that. That's what I wanted to,
Yes.
we need to understand that.
Yes.
It's not just that we're gonna say, all right, we want a deputy, you just don't do that. It's got to be done through the county commissioner.
Yes, sir.
To get the money, and then you will decide the deputy.
Yeah, just like we did last year. We added 2 deputies in last year's budget, and we put them in what used to be West Patrol, but in allowing us, and doing that has allowed us to kind of put the deputies in more specific zones as opposed to what we used to do in the past. And it seems to be working pretty well. I've talked with our patrol captain. I actually talked to one of my lieutenants on the way down here, and it seems like that zone system that we've set up seems to be working fairly well. But we got to keep those positions filled. You know, we've got at least one opening on each shift. And I think somebody mentioned vacations. You know, people go on vacation, people get sick, they have training days, they have days that they have to be in court. And so it's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving parts.
I know back in the ancient days when I was a deputy, that I don't think we ever had, when the western end of the county, at full shift.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a 3 working on western end of the county back then.
Yeah.
All right, for our town, the 2022 census has us at 800 people. And this school year, we have 200 of them are students. So there's like 600 working class or retired folks in our town. Do you see a need that the town would need a deputy at this time?
Well, that's not for me to decide.
I mean, in this area with the call volume that's in this area, would you think we would need one?
Well, I would like to, and I've been attempting to add personnel to our office in the past 16 years since I've been sheriff. But, you know, in a sheriff's office, I have more to consider than just the patrol division. And I've requested in my budgets over the years, we've added a number of positions to our patrol division. We've increased the number of detectives that we have. The commissioner just approved 2 detective positions for our office in this current year's budget. And, you know, with the jail, I've had to increase the number of jailers that we have working for us. Other units like our pretrial release program, I've got 3 deputies that oversee pretrial release and overseeing all the sex offenders in the county. I've got everything else pretty much leveled out as far as position wise, and I think my focus in the next few years will probably be trying to add more people in the patrol division.
Well, you handled that pretty good, because I was expecting you to say, well, heck yeah. Because that does give you a deputy down here.
Absolutely.
But even at 60 or 70,000 a year, just at the current property value right now, adds right around 8 cents to our taxes. You know, to where, you know, basically a lot of folks around here couldn't afford it. So
I disagree with you, Mayor, I'm sorry, but it only
That's
takes
fine.
5 cents plus the additional sales tax that we would receive.
But anyhow, that's what I figure.
I'd like to have more deputies ever how I could get them, but, you know, it does come down to money. Same thing, I deal with our county commission every year, constantly a budget, and sometimes they get what I asked for. The county does pretty good by us, and don't always get everything that I asked for. You know, I've asked for positions over the years. Sometimes they've been funded, sometimes not. Sometimes they might have to put them in the budget for the following year and do what we can. So you can certainly be assured that we're going to try to do the best job that we can for you with the folks that we have. I looked through the number of calls over the past year. It's it's close to 600 calls that we've answered in the town limits here over the past year. And I looked at the response times. And so when I looked at that initially, and I'd have to go through, and that's all calls. Some calls, doesn't require an immediate response. And deputies generally are tied up on other calls. So they're not always able to just put it in drive and go right that very second, right when a call comes out. So if deputies are tied up on a call, in communications, they do what they call stacking a call. The call comes in, the dispatcher takes the information, they enter it in the computer, and if a deputy is out on a call, let's just say you come home and you find the mailbox knocked over. Well, that's aggravating to you, but it's not something that requires an immediate response. And I know you would like the deputy to get there as quick as you can, because you got other things to do too. You don't want to sit around waiting all day for a deputy to get there and take a report and do whatever. But if that deputy's tied up on another call, he can't leave that call, then it shows on there, and that goes into our response time. And it looks like we have about an average of 18 minutes response time. But a lot of those calls are being stacked. When the deputy is clearing the call, it looks like they're getting to the call within less than 2 minutes from the time they actually check in route.
I know we
that looks-
had a
that looks pretty
situation
good.
here one morning, and B called for called 911, and they were here within 5 minutes. So yes, it's, do a heck of a job, so.
Well, we try to do the best we can. So just remember that if anybody ever calls in a speeding complaint. So usually deputies are trying to get, sometimes we got to get places quick, and then we've got to zoom up the road, but that's because we don't want people waiting on us
If
an extended period of time.
Another hypothetical, if the town would do this, do you think that, I know you can't speak for the commissioners, but do you think would it be favorable, do you think they'd look at it favorably to add another deputy for us like that?
Under a contract basis,
Yeah.
similar to Cedar Point, yeah, well, I mean, like I said, like you said, I don't want to speak for the commissioners, because they're all 7 individuals as well. But that was not a hard sell with our county commissioners when we did that years ago, and that contract has continued. And that's really a win-win for everybody. I mean, the town of Cedar Point has that deputy in town for that period of time, but it's also another deputy on our rolls. It's another person to fill in, and it's another person on this end of the county. And whereas an extra 40 hours of the week that deputy is in place, whereas that situation would not have existed before. So that deputy can go over into Cape Carter, back those officers up, come down this way, and either answer a call or back up the deputies that are down in this region.
Okay.
So it is a win, but obviously, when we're talking about resources, everything comes down to the financial ability to be able to pay for it.
And you commissioners, anybody else have any questions for him?
Sheriff, did anybody help politic for those 2 deputies you got last year? Besides Robin Comer?
Well, I think you made some phone calls, and I know that some of the commissioners were, specifically Robin Comer and Jimmy Farrington, they were pushing to get those deputies down here as well. So
Yeah, me and Mayor Ochet also met with them
yeah,
about getting the deputies here.
anybody who wants to ring anybody's phone and ask for more deputies, it sounds good to me. So, like I said, I'd like to have more deputies. I came into office to do the best I can as your sheriff to provide the best service that I can for you. And so in my time, I've tried to grow our office so that we could be more responsive and as responsive as possible. And it's taken me 16 years to kind of get to where we are now. And as far as I know, I think we've been doing a pretty good job. Of course, my opinion doesn't count. It's your opinion counts more than my opinion. I can come here and tell you anything I want to. But I think our folks, I think we got a good group of patrol deputies, we got a good group all the way around through our command staff and our detectives. I think they do an outstanding job for me and for all of you and for our office. But having more resources is always a plus. You know, I'm the one that wants to do more, but it takes more to do more.
Well, Asa, or Sheriff Buck, we appreciate you coming down and answering our questions. So, you know, I think, you know, of course, I got one side, Mr. Quinn has another side, and with you in the middle, you kind of, you know, you're answering our questions. You know, you're, you know, instead of us two going back and forth, at least we have you to ask, which is why I asked you to come.
So I'm available anytime. You got my phone number. If you need something from me, don't be afraid to call. If there's anything I can do to help out, I'm glad to try to do what I can. That's what I'm here for. That's what you put me here for.
All right. Well, thank you, Sheriff.
You're doing, and I want to compliment you for doing a very outstanding job as a sheriff.
Thank you.
I said it before, and I'll say it again, that, to your face, I said it to your face before, but I say it in front of these people too. Having been in law enforcement, and having been a deputy, I can say with unequivocally that Asa Buck is the best sheriff this county has ever had.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Amen.
I mean,
I'll tell you unequivocally, I'm the best one you got right now.
having worked with the other ones, I know.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. If anybody needs anything, you know how to get a hold of me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next, Wes Carter Fire and EMS report. Got Chief Hunter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board and citizens. Before I give my report, I just want to say that thank you, Sheriff Buck. We have a tremendous, we get along really great with your people. We have a tremendous relationship with your folks. And I will say that, and because our people are on the road a lot, and I'm on the road a lot, I will say that I think in the last year, I've seen more deputies down here than I've ever seen.
Oh, good.
So, but thank you, and again, we do have a tremendous relationship with y'all, and we always want to keep that for as long as we can. Okay, for Western Carteret, we responded to a total of 186 calls for the month of September. 132 of those were EMS, 25 were fire related, 9 were motor vehicle crashes or other type of rescues, and then there were 20 that were other, and there's a number of different things that can fall in the others. It's for service calls and things like that. So a total of 186. For Pelletier, we had 19 EMS calls and 1 other call for a total of 20 during the month of September. Again, as in almost month to month, for a fire-based EMS organization such as ours, about 70 to 80% of our calls are going to be EMS related, and anywhere from a lot of times 15 to 20% will be fire, and the main is EMS related calls. So that's pretty standard across the board. The 186 for the month of September puts us at 1,460 for the year. And we've been running, several of the months, we've been running right about 10 calls a month above last year. And if that remains the case right on through the end of the year, we will be right at that 2,000 call mark, which we have been now. We've been 2,000 or above now. This would make the 3rd year in a row. Now that's interesting because those 2,000 calls are even after, as I've brought up before, the letter that I sent to Onslow County last year, because we were being utilized so often in Onslow County, and they cut that out. In fact, for the month of September, we had no EMS standbys and only a total of 3 calls into Onslow County mutual aid on the EMS side. So That made a big difference in our call volume. I can tell you that if we were still doing percentage-wise, responding into Onslow County, the same percentage that we were doing back in 2021 and early 2022, we would probably be close to the 2,000 call mark already right now. So if you notice on your report, I added one chart so you can basically see a bar chart that gives you a look at how that plays out. And of course you have the normal chart that I gave you, the pie chart at the bottom. The fire marshal's report for the month of September, he had 56 total inspections. 3 of those were in Pelletier. Smoke detectors, he did 8 smoke detector installations or checks for a total of 24 for the year. Plan review, he did 4 for a total of 37 for the year. Knox box installation or maintenance, he did 12, 79 for the year. Fire prevention wise, September was a little low. We did 2 fire prevention programs, but I can tell you in October that will explode because we will go to the school, we will go to all the daycares. There will be agencies or organizations that will come to the department for fire prevention classes during the month of October because October is fire prevention month. Fire protection system checkouts, he did 7 for a total of 15 for the year. Training hours, he had 28 for 189 for the year. And research hours, that's researching fire codes, NFPA, ordinances, etc. 14 hours for a total of 175 for the year. At this point, if there are any questions or comments, I'll be glad to at least attempt to answer them or make comment on your comment. If not,
Any questions?
that's all I have. Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Good job,
Chief.
Chief.
Thank you, sir. All right, next is the financial report. Get to it. All right, as right now, we have in our general account, $214,031. Our PAL bill account, we have $13,042. Everything, like I say, we've only bought in 22,000 as revenue right now. That's because of the property taxes. No one's going to be paying them early. So anyhow, that'd be that really won't show up here until February, March. So our expenditures right now is 37,714. So anyhow, it all levels out after taxes are paid. So anybody have any questions? All right, planning, the planning board didn't have a quorum, so they weren't able to hold their meeting, so there won't be a planning report. Commissioners report, Commissioner Quinn?
I think we pretty much covered it, I won't belabor it, but, the code enforcement keeps getting kicked down the road.
As far as?
I mean, he went over and beyond, he contacted four people for bids, and then now we got somebody else interjecting in the bid process.
What's wrong with that?
Well, the only thing, last month he did, bring us the price and all, but no one made a motion of any source. So anyhow, that's why Walter went ahead and got someone else.
I thought he'd already contacted, I just had contacted Nicky Karacic, and he said he hadn't. So I said, then we'll go with the county. And he does live in town, he has to pay taxes into town. So I think we should have a right to at least give us some bids on what the job is. And another month, certainly they're gonna make that much difference. And we've already been waiting all these many months to get something done.
Yeah, exactly, 3 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
All right. All right, Commissioner Bragg?
I think Lieutenant Jensen covered everything on my end. We had one other little bit of ditch work to do, but it's close to the house, so I'll just take a bush hog down there and handle it myself.
Okay. Commissioner,
No,
Mason?
sir, I'm good.
There?
Fast this time.
Walter?
I'm fine.
All right, I don't have anything neither, so we'll move right on past that. New business rezone of William and Priscilla Livingston. This is 1277 Highway 58 and 102 Pettiford's Road. The rezone from R20 to B1 to make properties more marketable. So what we need if, is, to send this to public hearing.
That's right.
I make a motion to have set up a public hearing for next month.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second to send this to public hearing, at our next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, it's 4-1. Okay, next. All right, this one's a little touchy here because we don't know a whole lot about it, but we have a dog problem at 490 White House Forks Road. You, John? Okay. So anyhow, we got a letter. Did you write this letter, Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
We got a letter from Mr. Brooks about a dog problem at that address. And of course, the county won't cover it for us no more. I think
Where's 490? Where's 490?
it's right there at the corner of White House Forks Road and Collins Rue Road. So this is kind of good to have y'all here too,
Yeah.
because we don't know how really to handle weird, not animal control. And I think the,
What kind of dogs are they? Are they pans or
It's a couple of pit bulls.
are they just running a large?
He's got them contained,
Right.
but the gap under the fence is just about like this.
Are
So
they scooting onto your property?
they're getting out and they attacked some animals and killed them.
Oh,
Quick fix.
Yeah.
yeah.
So they run one of the Spectrum workers who was working on the cable lines who just happened to turn around and here comes the dogs charging at him.
Oh, you're
And
right.
got him in the car and where he drove off. And then that same day, he killed one of the neighbor's cat, or the dogs killed one of the neighbor's cats.
Has animal control been out to see Mr.
They have, and I spoke with Bobby, their supervisor, and he says that he is no longer allowed to go to the residents because of threats being made to them without a deputy.
Okay, well, that's not a problem either. If everybody's busy, I'll go with them.
Right. So it was kind of, the last incident was with Keith back here with the cat in his property where they mauled the cat to death. And it's kind of, I mean, we had,
Are you home tomorrow, or are you working?
I'll be home.
You be home? You mind if I drop by and see you?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll talk more about it.
Okay.
Chris, you want a copy of this letter?
Yeah, sure.
So you take charge of this?
Yeah, I'll see if I can do charges.
Is that cool?
What house is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
The compound.
The compound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riviera?
Yes.
All right, did, any commissioners have any questions for him? All right, and y'all good with that? We'll let Chris
Yeah, we'll speak.
take care of this?
Absolutely.
Okay. Public comment. Got 3 minutes. Does anybody from the town of Peltier have a comment?
Now, I'd like to ask you a question, like, what's going on with the property that Ed cleared down the road there?
I have no idea. It's not in town.
It's not in
No.
Pelletier.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. How about those in the ETJ? Anybody else have a comment? Okay, then we'll move on. Old business, rewording of the shed ordinance. Was there something done to that, Carlton? The shed ordinance?
I don't have anything ready tonight. I've talked.
We discussed it today.
About it, so, should we go on to,
What, just remove it, and if you're ready next month, fine. If not, just let us know when you're ready to put
That's
it back on the agenda.
That'd be good.
Okay, so anyhow, do we need to take any actions to remove it, or? Okay. All right. There's no other business. Commissioners' comments. Anybody want to make a comment at this time? All right. Anyhow, we're fixing to go into closed session. This is attorney-client discussion. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're going to close session. We thank everybody for coming and